Hello and welcome to the ITW Irish Cricket Awards 2021. My name is Marie Crowe and I'll be your host this evening, ably supported by two legends of cricket and sports broadcasting, Kyle McCallan and John Kenny.
Hi Marie.
Thanks Marie.
I must say I'm absolutely delighted to be here this evening. It marks around a decade since Angus Fanning appointed me the cricket correspondent for the Sunday Independent. And my first role in that job was to go to the Cricket Ireland Awards and sell raffle tickets. After that, then he roped me into playing on the Sunday Independent cricket team. But I have to say, I think everybody was very, very happy when Ger Siggins came along to do the actual work. So thanks everyone for having me here this evening. I must say, I think that Angus Fanning would be very, very proud to see me hosting these awards. Now, these awards are a celebration of Irish cricket, but this year we'll also be highlighting some of the extraordinary ways that thousands of players, coaches, volunteers, ground staff and administrators came together across our great game to get the best we could out of a challenging season in 2020. Amongst the awards this year are three very special categories: International Player of the Decade, Women's and Men's, and a Spirit of Cricket Award, which highlights some amazing stories of people going above and beyond during the pandemic. Now, before we start, we have a special welcome message.
Hi there, I'm Jack Chambers, the Minister for Sport, and I'm delighted to join you for the Irish Cricket Awards. The Irish Government is proud of the journey that Irish cricket has taken over many years and the way our international sides represent our nation on the world stage. To be at the top table of the world's second largest sport is no mean feat, but Cricket Ireland deserves credit for the hard work and success it has achieved, and the government is really pleased to support their great work. But their success is not Cricket Ireland's alone. It is also due to the many, many volunteers, players, administrators and fans of this great sport across Ireland. Good luck to all award winners, and I hope it's a great, albeit distant, celebration.
Thanks to the Minister, and it was great to have the support of both the Irish Government and Northern Ireland Executive in 2020. Despite the challenges 2020 brought, from Coleraine to Cork and Greystones to Galway, it was certainly great to see cricket action on fields across this island last summer. Here's just a snapshot of some of the action.
What a win! They've beaten the world champions in their own backyard.
A night to remember for Ireland cricket, a night to go along with Bangalore in 2011.
O'Brien has dispatched that one. There's no running for that one. That one's going to damage someone's car down in the car park. 6 more for O'Brien.
Now let's hear a quick word from our sponsor for this year's event. Welcome to Vivek Chandra from ITW.
Hello everyone, I'm Vivek Chandra from ITW. I'm happy to be here celebrating the year 2020, the year that was full of challenges, the year that was full of hardship. But at the same time, it was also the year of belief. It was year of courage. And that was the year in which Cricket Ireland showed a lot of character, a lot of courage a lot of belief. All the volunteers of Cricket Ireland ensured that the Irish cricket team came out and became one of the first teams to play cricket after the lockdown. Thanks to the complete support staff, the players and the management to ensure that they gave the cricket world the cricket that they were waiting for good 6 months. It was the year, after all the hardship, that Cricket Ireland came out and defeated England, the reigning world champions, in the ODI. It was the year that actually started on a high note for Cricket Ireland, where they ended up defeating West Indies, the T20 world champions, in T20. ITW's journey with Cricket Ireland started in 2018, but it was the year of 2020 that we cemented a long-term relationship. In fact, the decade that went by should not be judged by the year 2020 alone. It was the decade when Cricket Ireland knocked the whole world, defeated the likes of Pakistan and England, and became the full member nation. It was the same time during which ITW started its journey, worked with all major cricket boards across all major cricket tournaments, and ended up today becoming one of the world's leading sports marketing firm. In fact, in the year 2020, we also started our Ireland office, ITW Ireland. On that note, I would like to wish the Cricket Ireland all the best for the year that is coming by. 2021 is the year where Cricket Ireland would be playing World Cup cricket in India, the T20. The women team would be playing the World Cup qualifiers, and underage teams, the under-19s, under-15s, would be playing World Cup. ITW and from everyone here, we would like to wish all the best to Cricket Ireland. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Vivek. It's great to have ITW as part of the team. And indeed, we welcome all of Cricket Ireland's sponsors who have been a great support during the most difficult of years, including ITW, Turkish Airlines, Hanley Energy, Shapoorji Pallonji Group, O'Neill's, TechFinder, Test Triangle, Arcus, Clear Currency, Tildenet and Gibney's. Thanks also goes to our government partners, Sport Ireland and Sport NI. And finally, we would like to thank Waterford for the beautiful awards that will be given to all of our award winners this year. Waterford Crystal has been associated with cricket for more than a generation, primarily through its more than 20-year history of creating a crystal version of the famous Ashes urn for the MCC that is presented to the winning team after each Ashes series. Cricket Ireland is delighted that Waterford have once more provided the physical awards that will be presented to each Irish Cricket Award winner. Before we get into the awards, I'd like to introduce a notoriously shy man, a man of few words, Warren Dutram, Chief Executive of Cricket Ireland. Warren Dutram, you're so very welcome.
Thank you.
I think when we're reflecting on 2020, it was such a strange year. I don't think anyone thought we were going to see action for a lot of it, but we did get some. What was your highlight?
Wow, a good question. At one stage, we weren't sure we were going to have highlights. I think if we're rewinding to the middle of March last year, I think we were dealing with, Donald Rumsfeld called it the unknown unknowns. We knew things were going to be difficult, but we had no idea. We were working in such an extraordinary period of uncertainty. And for a number of weeks, we had no idea we were even going to have a season. But if I get to the end of the year and I consider what was achieved on and off the pitch, I reckon as a sport, we can look back with genuine pride on what was achieved. On the pitch, go right back to January last year, we beat the West Indies in a T20 game. We beat the Afghans in a T20 game when we hadn't won for about 5 years. Obviously, there was that fabulous game in July when we beat England in an ODI. If you think about it, we beat the two white ball world champs in their own backyard. We managed to get a domestic season going, which is incredible kudos and a great reflection of all the hard work that took place with my staff, the hard-working efforts of the provincial unions, and of course everybody out in the communities, in the clubs, to get the game going. So I genuinely believe we can look back with extraordinary pride at the efforts that came together, and not just within our sport, but we had fairly regular calls with the CEOs of the other sports, with the Minister of Sport, with Sport Ireland, and there was this incredible sense of camaraderie and shared endeavour to get sport played, not just because of our own our own inbuilt requirements and enthusiasms for the game or for our businesses, but just because we all understood the power of sport to feed the nation's health and mental well-being. And I think it was an extraordinary effort last year, so we can genuinely look back with pride.
Yeah, I think that's for sure. We've all realised, I think, how much sport means to us, because it was never taken away like that before. It was never inaccessible in any form for periods of time. But just when you do look back, it must be really heartening to have seen so many people come together to make it happen, to get the sport back.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I highlighted very briefly the extraordinary efforts of so many people, particularly in the range of what we simply didn't know at the time was going to be the case. Even just getting our domestic season going required extraordinary communication, collaboration, engagement between my staff, with the provincial unions, with the clubs, with Sport Ireland, with the expert group that they set up. We had to appoint COVID officers from among our staff to have to learn, okay, how are we going to make sure that we can have people within our venues? Everybody had to be temperature checked. We had to have roll calls of people coming into ground, so we knew who was going to be there at any given time to make sure that we had to make sure everybody was outdoors. How are we going to manage if it rained with everybody outdoors? How are we going to feed people? What about toilets and changing? All of these details had to be gone into in extraordinary fashion. If we go at the highest level, I mentioned about the unbelievable collaboration between all the sports, but I also want to have a real shout out to two individual groups, my staff, who worked incredibly hard in the face of that uncertainty throughout the year. And I also want to make a reference to those commercial partners of ours who are so extraordinarily important in number one, providing us with great support, among whom I would count Sport Ireland as exceptional in the extent to which they were available to us to help, and also providing us with concrete financial support as well. And the final point to make in that regard is those commercial partners who would not, frankly, have achieved or received much return on their investment from us last year, bearing in mind the small amount of activity we put out there, but they stuck by us and they genuinely believed and saw the value of what they're doing, which demonstrated to us it wasn't just about return on investment, it was about a true partnership.
2021 has begun, and I think everybody feels it is going to be quite challenging. It's going to be a little bit tricky. How are you feeling now about it?
I mentioned the phrase unknown unknowns a little bit earlier on. I think we can probably refer to them to 2021 as probably known unknowns. We know a little bit more about the impact of COVID-19 on our business. We understand the impact that it can have, but we also know much more now. We know that we can play matches away from home, as indeed we already have. So we can understand about what it takes for us to travel, the collaboration and engagement we need to have about giving comfort to our players and our support staff, to the Irish Cricketers Association before we travel overseas. What we've yet to do is understand the true impact of staging international matches here in Ireland. We've just announced our international schedule of matches, the men's schedule against South Africa and Zimbabwe. We're hoping we're going to be able to have two matches against Pakistan midway throughout the year. We're also going to be putting in place, we're acting in the art of the willing, which is let's look at our domestic structure. We've just announced some exciting innovations, we think, in the interprovincial structure and the women's Super Threes. So there's a lot of activity that we have going on. We've now allocated those fixtures to our venues as well, and we're even looking at talking to the England and Wales Cricket Board about potentially allocating those fixtures to England, primarily because one of our main international venues, Clontarf, is out of action. So there's a huge amount going on. We are going to be announcing some major strategic initiatives in the coming weeks. We have finished our previous strategic plan period, and we're going to be announcing our new strategic plan period. We're also going to be having a genuine focus on women's and girls' cricket. We'll be making some announcements in that regard very soon. So even though you can't see cricket happening, and not just because it's just February, even though you can't see cricket happening, there is an awful lot going on behind the scenes, and we will be making best endeavours. We will be busting a cut to make sure that we can get cricket out there. And if we succeeded last year, we certainly hope we can succeed this year. We may not be able to have fans in the ground. That's something that obviously we'll be working with the government on. We'll be keeping a very close eye on what our other sports are doing, but we hope there's some real cause for optimism in 2021.
Well, Warren, it does sound like whatever comes your way, you will find a way to overcome it. Thanks so much for joining me.
Pleasure. Thank you.
Now to the main event. This year we have a special bonus for fans. While you can enjoy the event right here on YouTube, viewers can jump onto Cricket Ireland's Twitter and Facebook channels after the event finishes to enjoy a series of great interviews conducted by Kyle and John with every winner and Hall of Fame inductee. Make sure you check out these great conversations and like or share them. I'm sure they will feature some very happy people. And before we begin, we should also thank our judging panel. Aideen Rice, Ian Callender, Ger Siggins, Angela Platt, Peter McCartney, Joe Moynihan and Philip Smith. Now, onto our first award, and it is the Shapurji Palanji Outstanding Contribution to Coaching. This award recognises an individual who has made a significant contribution to cricket coaching and who has demonstrated commitment and passion towards developing cricketers at the community level over a number of years. Now let's go to Shankar Krishnan from Shapurji Palanji to find out who has won this prestigious award.
As sponsors of the Shapurji Palanji Cricket Academy, we are aware about the tremendous effort that goes into developing young players and the critical role of coaching for the future of Irish cricket. While the names of several coaches have been put forth by provincial unions, and several more could not be nominated who were just as worthy, the judging panel has decided to award this year's winner to Breen O'Rourke. Congratulations, Breen.
Breen is an Irish coaching legend and has been instrumental in the growth and development of countless interprovincial and international cricketers over the past 25 years. Congratulations, Breen.
Much obliged. Great to pick up this award. A lot of people know I've been at this for quite a while at Irish level and Leinster level, and it's great to pick up an award, get a bit of recognition, and yeah, many thanks indeed.
Breen, your name is synonymous with coaching cricket in Ireland, and not just in Ireland, but beyond in South Africa and Australia. What is it that drives you to do the great work that you do?
Yeah, I think a lot of that is from within. I'm self-motivated. I love achieving targets. I love seeing players achieve their abilities. There's nothing better for me to see boys or girls who we've worked with at provincial level or national level progress and go through and play for their country, be it at under 17s, under 19s, be it Wolves or senior Irish internationals. So that end of the job is very pleasing. Things are going quite well. At Leinster level, we're getting quite a few through. Boys and girls are really fulfilling their talent and going on to the next step and playing for their country.
You can head to Cricket Ireland's website in the coming days to read Breen's achievements. But we recommend you hop on to Cricket Ireland's Twitter or Facebook channels after this broadcast and watch a great interview with Breen about his career. Our next award is the TechFinder Cricket Official of the Year. For this announcement, let's head over to Paul Guy from TechFinder.
Paul Guy here from TechFinder. We're a proud partner of Cricket Ireland and an equally proud sponsor of this worthy award. This award recognises a club official who's been responsible for umpiring, scoring and match officiating and has shown tremendous passion and commitment throughout the season. There are obviously many worthy nominations, but only one winner, as those nominated from the provincial unions. I'm delighted to say some powerful positive news comes to the TechFinder Club Official of the Year, and the winner is Ian Houston. Congratulations, Ian.
Ian has been the appointment secretary for NIACAS for 25 years. He's appointed well over 30,000 fixtures and during his tenure has never failed to have a fixture covered. Despite COVID-19 in 2020, Ian kept the show on the road during a very taxing time. Ian also mentors newly qualified officials, passing on his vast experience and advice. Many of today's top officials owe Ian a huge debt of gratitude in mastering the umpiring arts.
Cricket Official of the Year, must be delighted.
I'm very delighted, yes, and surprised.
How come so? You must have done something to have received this award.
Well, I am the appointment secretary for the Northern Cricket Union, and I've been doing it for 19 years, so it must be for a long time service.
So you say 19 years doing this, do you think you'll make it a 20th?
Well, we'll see. Hopefully.
Hopefully.
Congratulations, Ian. Again, if you hop on to Cricket Ireland's Twitter or Facebook channels after this broadcast and watch a great interview with Ian. Our next award is the Clear Currency Volunteering Excellence Award. As we all know, volunteers are the lifeblood of our sport, and we are grateful with the huge number of dedicated volunteers who make cricket happen in Ireland every day, season after season. Over to Peter O'Flanagan from Clear Currency with the winner.
Hi, Peter O'Flanagan here. We at Clear Currency are really excited and honoured to continue our involvement with Irish cricket. And while we'd rather be there in person, it is a privilege to present this award. The Volunteering Excellence Award is presented in honour of Derek Scott, a former president of the Irish Cricket Union and honorary secretary for almost a quarter of a century. Derek had an encyclopedic knowledge of Irish cricket and was an inspirational individual, encouraging and developing the careers of many, both on and off the field. And this year, after assessing nominations, the 2021 Clear Currency Volunteering Excellence Award goes to Michael Hickey. Congratulations, Michael.
Michael had a long playing career with Lismore Cricket Club, and following retirement he took up umpiring and became an umpiring instructor. He has served on the executive and board of Munster Cricket since 2006. He was president of the union in 2016 and 2017 and acted as secretary for the union since 2018, retiring from this role in January. He played a very significant part in the work carried out in recent years to modernise the government structures of Munster Cricket, which culminated in the incorporation of the union from the 1st of January 2020.
Well, Michael, we can see from the background, it seems like you're in the West Indies, but actually you're in Charleville in County Cork. Congratulations on your award, the Volunteering Excellence Award for 2020. It's been a tough year, though, hasn't it?
It has, yeah. I mean, it's a very strange year. I think it's the first year in about 40 that I haven't seen any cricket, been at a cricket ground, but plenty of Zoom calls and so on. So it's kept us going.
Michael, in terms then of Munster, good news for Munster Cricket in the fact that they've been moved up to the 50-over version of the game in the Interpros, also staying with the T20. So that's good news for Munster Cricket, isn't it?
Indeed it is, John. Yeah, we've been very keen to get involved in the 50-over format as well as the T20 format that we've played in for the last 3 or 4 years, yeah.
Again, if you hop on to Cricket Ireland's Twitter or Facebook channels after this broadcast, you can watch a great interview with Michael. Our next award is the Gibney's Outstanding Contribution to Irish Cricket in honour of John Wright. This award, as they say, does what it says on the tin. It honours a person who has made an outstanding contribution to Irish cricket. Over to Tony from Gibney's of Malahide for this year's winner.
Hi, Tony from Gibney's here. I think I speak for everyone across Irish cricket when I say that this year's winner is one we are very proud to announce, but at the same time, heartbroken to reflect upon. The winner of the Gibney's Outstanding Contribution to Irish Cricket in honour of John Wright is the one and only Mr. Roy Torrance.
One word, it's immense, both as a player, manager, alakadu, storyteller. He was just such a wonderful guy to be in his company.
He just had such an understanding and a love for Irish cricket, and also a great understanding of the history. And he always lectured us about having to bowl uphill into the wind and how hard it was in his time. But there was no one who had it was an unconditional love, and that love for Irish cricket was so deep.
They didn't tell me I'd have to do this in the interview. Over.
As soon as I think about him, I smile and I laugh at the comments, I laugh at the thoughts.
There you are. That's what it's all about. It's Irish cricket for you.
But I think the out and out thing that has always stood out with him is an extremely generous man, with give the shirt off his back to people who needed it, we thought needed it more than him. And I think that's the striking part. I think that's why I ended up so close to him.
Getting up in the morning, if you could sit with Roy at breakfast, you did it, because it got you off to a good start in the day. And likewise, if you had a bad day, you went and had dinner with him because you knew it gave you a lift before going to bed, and it sort of put to rest all those tough times on the field if you could get dinner with him in the evening. And they were special times to be spending with Roy.
He was a father figure really to everybody within that team. That's them squad of players, and even older guys, like older guys within the squad would have felt that as well. That you were never too old for Roy to give you a bit of advice or something like that, and you would have been a fool not to take his advice.
This is where they'll make something of themselves.
He had Irish cricket, running through his veins, and he wore his heart in his sleeve. He wore Irish cricket in his sleeve, and for me, that's what made the great times really special, and because he cared so deeply about it, like the rest of us.
A wonderful man, a wonderful legacy, a wonderful life. Roy will be greatly missed by so many.
The Gibney's outstanding contribution and service to Irish cricket in honour of John Wright this year goes to the late Roy Torrance. And I'm delighted that Robin Walsh, a close friend of the family, is here to accept the award on their behalf.
Well, it's marvellous news, Kyle, really marvellous news. And I can tell you that Joan and the three girls are absolutely delighted and honoured. And can I add that I am hugely honoured myself to be accepting it on behalf of the family. Proud to say that Roy was my closest friend, and my memories are many and joyous, but of course it's been a very sad time. In terms of the award, it carries the name of John Wright, and how appropriate two great icons of Irish cricket should come together. I have to say, in my view, there is no more worthwhile recipient than dear Roy. There is no doubt that he was one of the greatest figures in the history of Irish cricket. In fact, I could give you an argument that he was the greatest all-round figure in Irish cricket. He was a senior club player at 15, his first international at the age of 18, a selector, chairman of selectors, on the provincial board of his beloved Northwest Cricket Union, on the board of Cricket Ireland, president in that prestigious year of 2000, seeing in the new century. And then, of course, as you would know better than most, Kyle, the most magnificent manager of the Irish cricket team, experiencing no fewer, would you believe, than 3 World Cup finals and then another hat-trick, 3 T20 World Finals. What a great career and what a deserving man for this brilliant award.
Robin, I think you've summarised, Roy to a T, and I think we all count it a great privilege to have known him not just as a manager, as a cricket man, but as a true friend. And we continue to remember Joan and the girls and the extended family at this difficult time, and we hope that this award brings some comfort to them.
Well, I couldn't agree with you more, Kyle, when in your reference to Joan and the girls. This is a great honour for them. They will treasure this, and this will bring back so many memories. And I have to say that Joan is bearing up under a very considerable sadness. And in the three girls, she finds terrific comfort. They're marvellous.
Now for our Cricket Writers of Ireland Hall of Fame inductees. This year is a special year, as the cricket writers have chosen their usual two inductees, but for the first time ever, we will be inducting a third nominee posthumously. Now over to Kyle, who will unveil the first inductee this year.
When our inductee retired in 2007, he was Ireland's most capped player. 124 games from 1995 until just after the World Cup in the Caribbean. First picked as a fast bowler, he found his feet as a middle order batsman. In all, he made 2,774 runs at an average of 27.47. But those figures don't reflect just some of the important innings that he played. One such game was at the Lawn in 1998, when his 94 drove Ireland to a notable win over Bangladesh. He'll be best remembered for his 47-ball century at Bangor in 2005, still the fastest for Ireland despite some challengers in the last decade. In 2007, Eddie Burrell described him as the heartbeat of the team, but his teammates knew him only as PG or Polish. Our latest inductee to the Cricket Writers Hall of Fame is Peter Gillespie.
It's a huge honour for me, huge honour for my family, all the people who've been there through the journey.
You flew under the radar, I think, in a lot of cases. You batted there at number 5, and you were always the man for the big occasion. You're always the man who rescued us from a hole, and I think very often that doesn't go seen. Do you often feel that you've missed a wee bit of the limelight?
No, not really. I mean, that was me. I was pretty happy playing that role. I think, my career, I feel, was almost in two halves. I had 95 up to kind of 2000, where I was a batting all-rounder and I was bowling, and then injuries kind of took their toll, and I missed out on going to Toronto with that side, and I kind of almost had to reinvent myself then as a batsman purely, which wasn't easy. But thankfully, by that stage, I'd had enough international experience underneath the belt. And then when Eddie came in and he just identified that role in the middle order, which probably then I would be more remembered for, as you say, just being able to come in and do a job, whether it was finishing off what the other guys up top had laid on, or else, as you say, digging the team out of a hole, which, when you come up against county sides at that time or international sides, you obviously you got a lot of opportunity to do.
It's interesting that you talk about being a finisher, Peter. For me, you were one of the key players who started the path for where Irish cricket is on now, and it's up to others to play that role now, finishing it on your behalf. And I think the Irish cricket community owes you a huge debt, and we're extremely proud of you, and I'm sure your mum and dad are, and your brothers are, and many, many congratulations on this award. No better man.
Thank you very much, Kyle. And I'd just like to say a massive thanks to my parents, to my brothers, and especially to my wife.
This inductee played 66 times for Ireland women from 1995 to 2008. She scored 1,450 runs at an average of 27.88, including 9 50s. She played her first women's league match at age 8 and was on the Leinster under-19 squad at age 11. She was a top-order batter and played in 3 World Cups. Her 68 against Pakistan is also the highest scored by an Irish woman in Test cricket. Additionally, she was top scorer against England in 2001, when her 35 helped Ireland to a memorable win in the European Championship. And when the ICC unveiled their ODI world rankings in 2008, she was the only player from an associate nation to make the top 20. I'm delighted to announce that the 19th inductee to the Hall of Fame is Katrina Beggs.
Well, Katrina, congratulations on your award. Are you a little surprised to get this?
Yes, I was very surprised when I got the email, yeah, but also very happy to get an award like this.
It's nice when you're remembered. You're a bit removed from cricket these days, aren't you?
Yes, I'm on the other side of the world at the moment. So, so it was a really nice surprise to get an award like this. My only involvement now is coaching kids cricket. So, it was nice to get recognised for past achievements, yeah.
Okay, so fill us in some of those past achievements then.
Well, my first World Cup was in India in '97, and that was probably my most favourite World Cup. It was an amazing experience to play in India and in front of so many people. And then I had a tour over here to New Zealand for the 2000 World Cup, and then to South Africa.
Women's cricket has moved on substantially since then. How was it for you back in those days? I'd say it was a pretty Spartan experience at times, was it?
Yes, it was. It was hoping to either get off university for them to let you go on tours, or for when I was working to try to get them to give you a month off work was always hard going, to say the least. And a lot of it was fundraising yourself to get there, like either through your clubs. Malahide were always very good. They always help with fundraising and stuff, and Rush. But it was always, you had to fund yourself. So things have changed for the better. It's amazing over here. You get to see like the Big Bash in Australia and the Super Smash here, and it's women's cricket on telly all the time, and it's amazing to see.
Do you keep an eye on what Irish cricket is doing, the women's team in particular?
Yes, definitely. Yeah, no, I always keep up to date when they're playing and seeing how they're going. And they're I know they're waiting to see whether the qualifiers will go ahead. So hopefully that will go ahead and they qualify, and then I'll be able to watch them here. Yeah,
it's been difficult. Obviously, they haven't had a game in a very long time, but obviously your past has now finally caught up with you. And congratulations to you, Katrina Beggs, the Cricket Writers of Ireland Hall of Fame inductee. Congratulations to you.
Thank you so much.
The first of our posthumous inductees is probably the greatest spin bowler Ireland has ever produced. First capped as a schoolboy in 1929, he soon became a key member of the Irish side and enjoyed a 25-year international career interrupted only by the Second World War. He won 60 caps for Ireland and took 307 wickets, averaging 15.26, including 31 fifers and 10 wickets in a match on 7 occasions. His best bowling, 7 for 13, was against New Zealand at Rathmines. After retirement, he became an Irish selector and served as Honorary Secretary of the Irish Cricket Union for more than 20 years. Our first posthumous member of the Hall of Fame is Jimmy Boucher. We welcome Mike Halliday to talk about his friend Jimmy.
I was lucky enough to get to know him pretty well. I didn't actually... I'm sure I did see him playing in a match, but I wouldn't have copped on because I'd been too young. But I saw him maybe bowling in the nets a couple of times in Phoenix when I first joined. He did play senior cricket until he was 54 in 1964. But I think he had to be helped off the pitch after most of those games. But
just remember, in my formative years, I was always told you're a spin bowler, you're not a slow bowler. And you had to put revs on the ball. You had to, your first protocol was to spin the thing first. So that was always, getting body rotation, getting the snap of the wrist and getting everything through the ball to get those revs. And Garfield Harris used to talk about, spin swerve. And that was the beauty of it, And it sounds very much like Jimmy Boucher was the destroyer. And
now, Jimmy Boucher obviously had this ability to drift the ball away. And with his big fingers, big revs, he could make a turn even on non-helpful wickets. And I mean, his stats are quite astonishing. I also imagine thinking about him in the recent days when I knew I was doing this interview, he'd have been a fantastic overs bowler because of the speed he bowled at.
I think he would have been very difficult to get away because he was accurate, apart from all the other things he said about it.
Cricket Ireland's wonderful charity partner, the Hope Foundation, are an iconic Irish not-for-profit working with street and slum children in Kolkata in India. Here's some more about this great charity.
The Hope Foundation was set up at 1999 by Maureen Forrest. Maureen travelled to Kolkata in the early 90s and was appalled by the poverty that she witnessed. Determined to make a difference, Maureen decided to set up one protection home to care for 25 street children. Hope believes in a world where it should never hurt to be a child, working with thousands of vulnerable street children to overcome poverty through its many projects and programs, giving them back a childhood and offering the chance for brighter tomorrow. Will you help us to give hope to a child who desperately needs your help? For more information, please visit our website or follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
Now, 2020 was a tough year for cricket, from grassroots right through to international levels. One cohort of cricketers who had their entire programme wiped out were the players from the Shapoorji Pallonji Cricket Ireland Academy. However, despite no action in a physical setting, the academy was still busy in other ways.
Oh, Pete Johnson, always good to talk to you. Looks like we're going to have a busy year coming up with the international teams, men and women. But obviously below that, we have academy, we have youth, and also the Wolves. The Wolves are actually going to Bangladesh. Just tell us a little bit about what the expectation is there.
Hi, John. Great to see you again. Yeah, no, it is a big year. You know, obviously a lot of international cricket coming up, and a lot of important tournaments as well on the youth side of things. Yeah, the Wolves trip to Bangladesh, it's obviously a hugely important opportunity for the guys. I think it's been a massive part of our programme in getting players to come through, and the team's been very successful. And we see a number of young players now pushing into the Irish team who have had good Wolves experiences and good experience in the academy as well. So this type of tour, I think it's a young side going out there into different conditions, and I think experiencing the conditions in Bangladesh, you know, they'll take a lot of learnings from this trip, and I've every confidence that they can go out and put in some very good performances.
Yeah, it's quite a comprehensive tour, isn't it, with the 4-day game, and you've got the 50 overs and the T20 games as well. And it gives a chance for some of the younger players to come through, and also some of the players who've been in the international, the senior setup, to get more experience.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, you know, a number of our guys maybe don't have experience in Bangladesh, even though they're in the senior team now, and we've obviously got a young crop of players. So I think, yes, there are some players who are stepping up for the first time to Wolves, guys like Ben White, who's a very talented leg spinner. And then you've obviously got some slightly more experienced players in there as well, and led very well by Harry Tector.
Mm-hmm. And then you've got the academy and the youths as well. I know that the boys and girls under 19s could have a very busy year as well, couldn't they?
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, starting with the academy, I think, you know, since I took it on in 2016, we've had a lot of success. We see those players transitioning through, and it's all about trying to get them ready and give them the experiences and the education that they require in order to get there, and covering all your bases in terms of strength and conditioning and psychology and skills. You know, we've done a lot of online stuff, obviously, with COVID, and master classes with our senior players and sharing of information. So, you know, that program's been really strong. And I think since we took it on, about 25% of the 58 players maybe that we've worked with have gone on to play with Ireland already. So that's really positive. And I think 65% of the guys have had Wolves opportunities as well. So they're massive positives. So we want to keep growing that program and keep developing it. And on the youth side, what's been really beneficial is having Albert van der Merwe come in as a pathway manager, and really sort of looking over the youth teams, both girls and boys. It's a big year for our youth teams. The boys have to try and qualify for a World Cup in the West Indies, and probably our main rivals there are Scotland as always. So that'll be in the summer. And then the girls have a World Cup coming up at the end of the year as well in Bangladesh, the under-19s. So they're huge opportunities and experiences, and we really hope those sides can get out there and make the most of those.
Yeah, and as you mentioned there, finally, it's about getting on the pitch, and hopefully it'll be a busy 2021 for all involved.
Yeah, absolutely. There's no better learning than playing fixtures. So, yeah, definitely.
Pete Johnson, thanks very much for joining us.
Despite all that 2020 threw up, we still saw plenty of club cricket played. And all credit to the many thousands of players, coaches, volunteers, groundskeepers, officials and scorers who came together to make the best of it and eked out a season. Our next award is the O'Neill's Male Club Player of the Year. O'Neill's are a fantastic kit partner for Cricket Ireland and an iconic Irish brand that we are proud to carry with us around the world. Over to Kieran Kennedy from O'Neill's to announce the winner.
Thanks, Marie. Delighted to be announcing the O'Neill's Male Club Player of the Year award. In a highly competitive field, this award aims to recognise both on-field and off-field performance. The shortlist considered by the judging panel were John Anderson from Marion, Chris Dougherty from CIYMS, Gareth McKeegan from New Buildings, and Swarwick Borough from Limerick. And I'm pleased to announce that the 2021 O'Neill's Male Club Player of the Year is John Anderson from Marion.
Well, you've joined a very elite band of players who won this award on numerous occasions before. John, Alf Masood and Jeremy Bray have won it multiple times, so you're now up to number 3.
Yeah, excellent company. I wouldn't have played against Alf, but definitely played against JB, and yeah, he's a great player. So to be in that company is yeah, it's great.
Well, John, you were limited in the amount of games that you played last year, just a lot of T20 matches, but it was nice to get some cricket in, wasn't it?
Yeah, so yeah, last year, I suppose 2 parts to it. Was disappointing not to have played a full season. You know, we only ended up playing 6 T20 games for Marion, so, you know, as someone who loves playing cricket, that was disappointing, but I suppose also lucky to have got some cricket in at all, because yeah, with all that's going on, I suppose credit goes to Cricket Ireland there and all the work that they did and the unions did to get cricket played. You know, Cricket Leinster did a fantastic job. You know, I know all the hard work that went in behind the scenes, so thanks a lot to them. And yeah, just lucky to have played any cricket at all, really.
Now back to Kieran again for our next award, the O'Neill's Female Club Player of the Year.
Thanks again, Marie. Can I just add on O'Neill's, we understand what it takes to persevere, to adapt and deliver against the odds. So I commend each and every club that made cricket happen around the country this past year. So now on to the O'Neill's Female Club Player of the Year award, which again was a highly competitive field of nominees, recognising both on-field and off-field performance. The shortlist considered by the judging panel were ALANA DALZELL from Brady, Charlotte Lyons from Warringstown, Rebecca Stockwell from Marion, and I'm pleased to announce that the 2021 O'Neill's Female Club Player of the Year is ALANA DALZELL from Brady.
How does it feel to be awarded the top women's club player in Ireland?
It's really surprising, to be fair. It was great feeling when I got the phone call, but big surprise, yeah.
Obviously, we've read great things, Alana. You've made you played for Brady's men first 11 this year and so on, but you've played a lot in the Super Series so far. How have you found, the standard and how you find your feet at that level?
It's great to be playing on that level because, it's sort of a big difference from up here. So it's great to be getting down with the experienced players and learning from them and just picking up a few like wee things every time I go down, and just at that standard, it's great to be playing at and getting the experience.
Congratulations, Alana and John. Again, if you hop onto Cricket Ireland's Twitter or Facebook channels after this broadcast, you can watch the full interviews with Alana and John. Now it's the Tildenet Club of the Year award. This award acknowledges achievement on and off the field. We head to Joe Downey from Tildenet to announce the winner.
Good evening. May I first of all say it's lovely to be here on this special occasion, although I must say as well that I'd rather that I was able to be with you, but sadly this is not possible in these present times. Anyway, Tildenet are proud to support grassroots cricket in Ireland and to sponsor the Tildenet Club of the Year for the past 10 years. As well as the coveted trophy, we are delighted to also provide £1,000 of Tildenet products for the winning club. Tildenet recognises a cricket club which displays good practice and strengths in areas such as on-field success, governance, volunteer strategy, membership, coach and player development, community engagement, and not least encouraging and involving girls and boys in the game of cricket. This year there was a highly contested shortlist considered. There was the YMCA, New Buildings, North Down and Limerick. And the 2021 Tildenet Club of the Year award this year goes to Limerick Cricket Club.
Chris, it's been an absolutely fantastic season on the field for Limerick Cricket Club. Tell us all about it.
Well, to be honest, the season for us started a long time before we actually hit the field. We had a fantastic winter in 2019, 2020. Little did we know what was obviously going to happen in March, but we were training from kind of December onwards, indoors, really good sessions, really working hard as a team. And I think that really brought us together and galvanised us for going onto the field and performing as well as we did. I mean, we came away with 5 of the 8 trophies from the competitions we entered, which was phenomenal for us.
Chris, they say a lot of the success on the field is built on the good work that's done off it. And certainly when you read the achievements of Limerick Cricket Club and the work that is going on off the field, it's incredible. Tell us a little bit about that.
I suppose the essence of what we're trying to be is part of a community. We've got to look at the community within Limerick Cricket Club, but also the community outside of Limerick Cricket Club, and trying to be a part of that, to me, is fundamental to being part of the development of the club from grassroots up. We're involved in things such as mental health. A few of our coaches have done mental health first aid training. We're looking at the moment to develop a program that we've got some funding for to run, where we link in with a lot of people who are involved in the accommodation centres. Those people who are feeling lonely, trying to integrate those guys into the club. Because, it's a long, dark winter if we don't do something, Outside of that, we've been involved in tidy towns. We've been involved in providing bedding plants and flowers to places like nursing homes and to tidy towns. Just small little bits all over the place to just try and build a profile for ourselves,
Chris, what you're doing is echoing everything that Cricket Ireland are wanting to do to make cricket mainstream and to make cricket part of the community in Ireland in general. And the club deserves tremendous, plaudits for everything that you're doing, both on and off the field. And I think we would speak on behalf of the entire cricket community to wish you all the very best with everything that you're doing going forward. And the continued growth of the game in Munster and beyond is just, it's fabulous news for everybody in cricket in the island. And we wish you all the very best and many, many congratulations.
Carl, thanks a million. Really, really appreciate this. We're chuffed. Cheers, bud.
Now, our next award is the Orchids Super Series Player of the Year. Despite the challenging year, the Super Series went up several notches as a competition in 2020, with great on-field action, complemented by a new live scoring and live streaming service for fans to enjoy. Super Series Player of the Year is a Coach Selector nominated award for the player who's had the most significant on-field impact for their Super Series team in 2020. Now over to award sponsor Arcus with the winner.
Hi, I'm Graham Brown from Arcus, and we're delighted to sponsor this year's Super Series Player of the Year award. This is a Coach Selector nominated award for the player who has had the most significant on-field impact for their Super Series team in 2020. And the Super Series Player of the Year for season 2020 is Laura DELANY. Congratulations, Laura.
Laura had an excellent season at Super Series level, captaining the Typhoons to their first ever title win. She was the highest ranked Typhoons batter, scoring 219 runs at an average of 43.8 with a strike rate of 74.2 and 2 half-centuries, and claimed 7 wickets at an average of 22.29 with an economy of 3.39, consistently taking wickets at crucial times while being extremely economical. Congratulations, Laura.
Laura, congratulations on your award as the Super Series Player of the Year. A tough old year for everybody, obviously, and on the international scene. But tell us about the Super Series as well. The Typhoons winning for the first time.
Yeah, firstly, I think it was brilliant to get a season in. At some stages last year, it looked highly unlikely that we would get any games in. So to get a full series in was brilliant. And overall, it was very competitive. I think that's evident due to the fact that it came down to the last game. But yeah, the Typhoons delighted to get our first win. It's been a while coming, but overall, I thought as a team we kind of grew as each game went on. At the start, we found it tricky enough, but we definitely found our way as we kind of hit that halfway point throughout the series. So yeah, delighted to get the win overall.
In terms of having a third team there, there's, obviously we didn't have any overseas players coming over, and obviously we've lost a few players who've gone overseas as well. So do you think that has diluted it at all, or were you happy enough with the 2-team format? And it's going to continue, of course, in 2021.
No, I thought it was really competitive, and I think it gave younger players who may not always have an opportunity to take a responsibility with the battered ball an opportunity to go out and open the bowling or bat in a higher position and show, I suppose, not only ourselves as players but the selectors what they're capable of. I thought Orla Prendergast had a superb series. She got better and better as the series went on, and I'm super excited to see how she goes once we do have an international fixture. But some of the younger players like Jane and Georgina Dempsey, I thought they were brilliant throughout, and they may not have had an opportunity to contribute as much if our senior players that are based over in Australia were here. So yeah, I thought the 2 teams were, I think that format going forward is going to be more competitive. It will make it slightly harder for, I suppose, younger players where those players slightly on the outside to get in. But at the end of the day, we want competitive games, and if that's what is needed going forward, then.
2020 wasn't a bad year for you, Laura DELANY, our Super Series Player of the Year. Thanks for joining us, and congratulations.
Thanks, Emil. Thank you.
Now our next award is the Test Triangle Interprovincial Player of the Year. Like the Super Series, the Interprovincial Series offered some welcome relief for many who were enduring lockdown to be able to follow the games with new live scoring and live streaming service. Now over to Praveen Madir from Test Triangle with the winner.
Test Triangle was proud to support this great competition last year. The Interprovincial Series Player of the Year is a coach and selector nominated award for the player who has had the most significant on-field impact for their provisional team in 2020. And the Interprovincial Series Player of the Year for season 2020 is Simi Singh. Congratulations, Simi.
Simi had an excellent season at interprovincial level, showing his significant all-round value. In the IP50 competition, Simi scored 104 runs at a strike rate of 105 and took 10 wickets, topping the averages at 13.7 per wicket. He took a wicket every 20 balls and had an economy rate of just over 4 runs per over. In the IP20 competition, Simi was never dismissed and scored 64 runs at a strike rate of 108.47, while also being leading wicket taker in the competition with 8 wickets at an average of 6.62 per wicket. He took a wicket every 9.75 balls and had an economy rate of just over 4 runs per over. Congratulations, Simi.
Men's Interprovincial Player of the Year, Simi Singh.
Hi, Cal. Thanks very much. First of all, I would like to thank Cricket Ireland for picking me as an Interprovincial Player of the season, so I'm really grateful for that.
Simi, how much, you had obviously a very strong Interpro performance in all formats of the game last year. How much confidence did that give you going into the recent series in the UAE against Afghanistan and the UAE?
I think it was really massive firstly because of the fixtures we had. We didn't have many international fixtures, so Interpros was obviously massive. And I think bowling-wise, I was able to, experiment with a few things which came off, especially a few of the leggies. And other variations which massively helped my confidence, and with the bat as well, playing a couple of important innings in a run chase. So that was really massive, even though it was a few months ago, but still had that confidence from that.
Going forward into next season, Simi, what goals do you have at Interpro level for Leinster Lightning and for Ireland personally? What goals have you set yourself for the coming season?
Goals wise, I think obviously with the new format, so the teams will be spread out a little bit, so it'll be more challenging for us. Hopefully I'll be playing for Leinster, so it'll be more challenging to again win all the comps and all that kind of stuff. So just take each game and then it'll be try and get as many wickets as I can, and hopefully bring in more variations, which I've been working hard from the last 3-4 months. My leg spinners, googlies, all that kind of stuff, because I do want to take that into international cricket and get that ready for the big games whenever I'm involved. And with the bat as well, just trying to the role I see is as a finisher now for me, so just try and work on that and hopefully win games for my team.
Simi, all the very best with the coming season, and we hope that you continue to build on your fine form this year. And after that, back over to you, Marie.
Now for a special award, the Turkish Airlines Spirit of Cricket Award. This is a very special award that recognises a person or a club that went above and beyond to help their club members or wider community through a tough time in 2020. It recognises that the spirit of cricket goes beyond the playing field and highlights how at times the best of us can be revealed during the worst of times. There were a number of great nominations submitted that were shortlisted. The team at North Down for their exceptional work to support and deliver cricket in challenging circumstances, supporting Cricket Ireland, the NCU and hosting competitive opportunities for underage boys and girls in the region. Godwin Jeopardis from Kerry Cricket Club for his on-field intervention to treat and care for a young cricketer who had broken his arm on the pitch, even turning his batting arm guard into a splint. The cricketing cooks from Breedy Cricket Club, who have provided over 3,000 meals to the elderly and vulnerable in the community, and the players who do pharmacy and grocery deliveries for families who have been housebound. The team at Pembroke Cricket Club for their unstinting support for the wider cricket family during COVID, a club that truly came together to deliver on so many fronts. Now we turn to Hassan Mutlu at Turkish Airlines for the winner.
Turkish Airlines is proud to continue supporting Irish cricket, and we are delighted to sponsor this very special award. And the Turkish Airlines Spirit of Cricket Award winner is Breedy Cricket Club. Congratulations and thank you for your contribution to your community and beyond.
Trevor, congratulations to yourself, your club, Breedy, Spirit of Cricket Award for 2020. Obviously, very difficult times for everybody, but it looks like the people in Breedy Cricket Club really stepped up to the mark this year. Can you tell us exactly what went on?
Back in March 2020, it was just before lockdown number one. The committee met and we're all doom and gloom, and we thought, what could we do just to lift the spirits of people in the area. And one of our committee members came up with the idea of providing a meal service to the elderly and vulnerable throughout the community. And it was only supposed to be for 1 week. But after 3 different lockdowns, and I think we're in their 28th week now, so we've provided over 3,000 meals to the elderly and vulnerable throughout the community of Mahon Mason, Brady, New Buildings and surrounding areas.
It's quite a remarkable undertaking, and it's still going on, as you say, yes?
Yes, fair play to all the volunteers. Like, it's just not volunteers from our own club. There's people from the community, people from the football club, local football club. There's like family and friends of players have all chipped in together. And at the minute, we're still going at the minute, and we see it continuing into March.
Congratulations to Brady Cricket Club. What a wonderful story. And you can hop on to Cricket Ireland's Twitter or Facebook channels to watch the full interview with Trevor Hamilton. Now we're getting down to the final 3 awards of the evening. One of the great disappointments of 2020 and the effects of the pandemic was the impact on the Ireland women's programme. 2020 saw 2 confirmed tours lost, a World Cup qualifier postponed and the possibility of any summer internationals wiped out. After consulting with the Irish Cricketers Association, it was agreed that the last 3 awards would still go ahead. However, no Women's International of the Year could be awarded this time. So now, our next award is the ITW Ireland International Men's Player of the Year for 2020. Now over to Joy Lashmi from ITW.
Men's International Player of the Year is a peer-nominated award for the player who has had the most significant on-field impact for the Ireland Senior International Team in 2020. The top 3 players in alphabetical order are Andrew Balbirnie, Paul Sterling, Craig Young. And the winner of the ITW International Men's Player of the Year for 2020 is Paul Sterling.
Congratulations, Sterlo, on your 3rd International Men's Player of the Year award. An incredible achievement.
Thank you. Sterlo, 400s in your last 6 innings. It's an easy game, isn't it?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. We all know it's a tough game, but we do chat a lot about how if you're in form, you've really got to make it count. We know how difficult the game is when you're down and out and you don't know where your next run's coming from. And you always feel that it's maybe around the corner. So whenever you are in a bit of nick, and I've been fortunate that over the last couple of months I have been, anytime you think you're a bit tired on 30 or 40 or 50, you know that you got to keep going and bat on and get as many runs as you can. So delighted with how it's going personally, but obviously it's a team game. We need to hopefully get a few results coming our way shortly.
You mentioned about being a team game, and you're now obviously, even a 30-year-old, you're a senior pro in the team. You know, from an outside point of view looking in, it's an exciting looking young team who seem to be making strides in the right direction. You know, how do you see your role in that team going forward?
Yeah, I think it is really exciting. The youngsters coming through, you see it every day. You see it in practice more and more at the minute, where you're like, geez, he really is improving. And I just think with a bit of youth, even as a senior player, it gives you that energy as well. There's no sort of, you can't just let things slide. You've got people coming up. You know, you've got to keep your performances up so that you can keep that competitive edge going. So, really exciting times. I think the average age is mid-20s, which is strong. And with a bit of time, everyone needs time. Had it myself at the start of my career. You need those games. You need 20, 30 under your bag before you start realising what international cricket's about. And from there, that's when you really excel.
You were obviously one of the guys faced with a really tough decision when Ireland reached Test status, and you've foregone your professional role really with Middlesex. How tough was that decision, and do you feel now, obviously with how well you're playing, that that's fully justified?
Yeah, it was really tough. It was certainly the toughest decision I've had to make professionally. It's just playing for two teams for that amount of time equally with almost the same coach in Simo and Richard Scott at Middlesex. It just made it harder because you were so settled. Two teams, been there for a long time, family feel at both, and it was a really difficult decision. I kind of wanted someone else to make it for me, and it sort of didn't work out that way, where it got to the very latter stages of it and I had to make that decision myself. So I'm delighted. I think whatever decision I made, you've got to make it work and make sure that it's the right one after the fact. So once the decision was made to come back, play for Ireland full time and be here, that's the route you go, and you got to give it everything. And at the minute it started okay, but I probably haven't had that full season back in Ireland yet, the full Interpro setup, the home series. So I'm looking forward to getting stuck in there and hopefully helping out as much as I can, starting with scoring runs.
Well, I'm pretty sure on behalf of everybody in Irish cricket that we're thrilled that you've obviously made that decision, and we're hugely proud to follow you, on your travels all around the world, exhibiting your talent. And long may that continue, Paul, in an Irish jersey and all those other T10 and T20 franchises that you're gracing.
Thanks very much, Kyle. Appreciate it.
Now we have two big awards to finish this year's event, the International Players of the Decade. But first, let's take a trip down memory lane. The first of the two big awards is the Hanley Energy International Women's Player of the Decade, 2011 to 2020. A special jury of experts was convened, consisting of Miriam Greeley, Barbara MacDonald, Carrie Archer and Rob O'Connor, to develop a shortlist and recommend a winner. Just to be shortlisted for this award is recognition of a player's great achievement, and players should be proud of this acknowledgement. The expert jury reported some animated discussions, but in the end, they had a consensus winner. Over to Kim Madden from Hanley Energy to announce the winner.
Kim Madden here from Hanley Energy. We are proud to be the long-term sponsor of the Ireland women's team and this prestigious award. The 5 players shortlisted for the award by the expert jury were Laura Delaney, Kim Garth, Cecilia Joyce, Isabel Joyce and Claire Shillington. And I'm proud to reveal the winner of the Hanley Energy Women's International Player of the Decade is Kim Garth. Congratulations, Kim.
The expert jury citation included the following. Debuting in 2010 at 14 years of age, Kim played 114 times for Ireland. She had the highest batting average by an Irish player in T20Is over the decade, claiming 42 wickets with the best bowling figures of 3 for 6. In ODIs, she accumulated 448 runs with the highest score of 72 not out and claimed 23 wickets as the best bowling average for Ireland women during the decade of 29.56, with best bowling figures of 4 for 11. At the 2018 ICC Women's World 2020 tournament, she was named as the standout player of the Irish team by the ICC. She was one of the 6 inaugural players awarded a professional contract in 2019 and later that year finished leading run scorer at the Women's World 2020 qualifier. Kim has also had considerable success in Australia, including winning 2 WBBL titles with Sydney Sixers and has won Most Valuable Player of the Year with club side Dandenong. While it was sad for us to lose Kim to Australia in 2020, her performances in green, her dedication to the game and her profile on the international stage over the last 10 years makes her a very deserved winner.
So, Kim, it's obviously a difficult decision to move to Australia to further your career. It's obviously a decision you made, but it must have been difficult to leave the girls behind from the Irish women's cricket team.
Yeah, it really was. It was a decision I kind of thought about for quite a while. And look, obviously it was very difficult knowing that, you know, my Irish career was something that was going to have to be put on hold for the time being. But yeah, look, I kind of just thought about the bigger picture really, and just in terms of I wanted to play cricket for a living, and that's something that I wanted to do and not have to do any other jobs. And just, you know, having spent a couple of years out here and seeing how the system works and all that kind of stuff, well, I just decided that ultimately I want to play cricket for a living, and unfortunately that wasn't feasible back home. So that's kind of what led me to the decision. But absolutely, it really was difficult leaving all the girls behind and not playing for Ireland, and of course leaving friends and family behind wasn't easy either. So
congratulations, Kim, and congratulations to Isabel, Cecilia, Laura and Claire, who all made unbelievable contributions over the decade. We have made it to the final award for this year's event, the ITW International Men's Player of the Decade 2011 to 2020. Once more, a special jury of experts was convened consisting of Alan Lewis, Andrew White, Kyle McCallan and Peter Gillespie to develop a shortlist and recommend a winner. Once again, just to be shortlisted for this award is recognition of each player's achievement, and players should be proud of this acknowledgement. And once again, the expert jury reported it was nearly impossible to split the shortlist, but a winner emerged. Over to Raja from ITW.
It has been an exciting decade for Cricket Ireland and how the men and the women teams have fared themselves, starting from what happened way back in 2011 during the ICC World Cup in Bangalore, where I'm positioned now. And I take immense pride and confidence in presenting the ITW International Player of the Decade Men. The 5 players shortlisted for the award by the expert jury are Ed Joyce, Tim Motta, Kevin O'Brien, William Porterfield, Paul Sterling, and the winner of the ITW International Player of the Decade Men is Paul Sterling. Paul, you have been a stalwart of Irish cricket and have inspired further growth of cricket in Ireland for the years to come. Many, many congratulations. God bless you.
What an incredible double for Sterlo. Congratulations goes to Paul. The expert jury had an incredibly tough choice, with all players listed justifying their inclusion. However, they cited Paul's consistency over the decade, improving year by year, underscored by his amazing natural talent with power and match-winning qualities. Opening the batting against top-quality bowling attacks, he has an outstanding strike rate and world-class average, which gives his team the best chance of being successful against the top nations. He hit the highest individual ODI score for Ireland, 177 versus Canada. But he's 2 centuries against Pakistan, his century against England last year, his World Cup century in 2011, and his 92 in the run chase to help beat West Indies at the 2015 World Cup were cited as some of his most impactful performances. Paul has recently become Ireland's highest run scorer across all formats and shown that he has hit the ground running in this new decade. Now, while it is congratulations to Paul, the expert jury made a specific request to recognise the tough decision they had between Paul and William Porterfield. Porty captained Ireland with great distinction over the decade and was a fantastic ambassador for Ireland and associate nations during this time. A consistent run scorer whose 112 versus England at Malahide and 107 versus Pakistan at the 2015 World Cup were standout performances. Paul, William, Kevin, Ed and Tim all deserve to be recognised for their performances over the decade. But congratulations to Paul for taking out this honour.
Sterlo, Player of the Decade. How does it feel?
It's a pretty special award, I must admit. Over such a long period of time to come out with something like that. There's so many great names that have been involved over the last 10 years, and to come out on top of that, not quite sure how, but delighted to receive the award. Absolutely delighted.
Obviously, you're up against the greats of the game. Ed Joyce, Kevin O'Brien, William Porterfield, Niall O'Brien. Guys whose contribution to the game has been immense. One of the things that stood out to the selection panel was just the level of consistency, Paul. And your statistics, particularly in ODI cricket, are up there with the very best in the world. 24 50s, 12 tons. You could now arguably say that you are world class.
I don't know about that, Carl. I certainly would be one of those ones that always feels like lack of form might be around the corner. So I'm always trying to make sure that I'm using everything I've got at that time. Certainly not something that I look at. I always feel, jeepers, there's someone coming through. There'll be a 16-year-old someone in Ireland who's going to take my spot. So I'm always thinking, geez, tomorrow's game or the next series is vital. So never take that for granted. But it is nice. It's an award over that period of time to come out on top is just class.
You mentioned there about being a role model to some 16-year-olds coming through, and et cetera, and that's just massive. You're an unbelievable role model to the next crop of Irish cricketers coming through. You must have had in your very early days, Paul, a significant role model. Maybe when you were a young player at Cliftonville, there must have been somebody there perhaps influencing you. Was there?
Certainly you, Cal, definitely. No, I do. On a serious note, I do remember watching you as a young kid, and you were playing for Ireland at that time, and it was definitely a contributing factor for where I wanted to go and go on and play for Ireland. So, all joking aside, massive that Cliftonville side back then, growing up as from 7 years old to 15, playing there was special to watch, and it certainly whetted my appetite for going on to play for Ireland.
That concludes this year's awards presentation. A big thank you to our event sponsor, ITW, and to Waterford for the fabulous awards. On behalf of myself, Kyle, John, and the whole team behind the event, we hope you've enjoyed the show. And now I encourage you to jump onto Cricket Ireland's social media channels to watch our extended interviews and bonus content. Thank you very much, and best of luck to all for the 2021 season to come.